So, good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock on July 6th, a Tuesday, and I just want to go over some things for your Module 4. So, up until now, we have done the journal evaluation, you've done your initial manuscript, you've submitted it to your peer for review. And then part of that review process, I also went through all of your manuscripts and made comments as well. So here, Module 4 is the draft final manuscript. So I'm going to open it. So the objective for this module is to prepare your first draft of your final manuscript. You have some resources here, a couple videos that I got off of the internet that are just talking to you about overall how to give feedback, how to be respectful, that type of thing, and receive feedback. And then this is your assignment, so it's not due till the 23rd, so you have plenty of time to go through it. Review comments in your manuscript from your peer reviewer. So if you need to ask questions to them, you can ask questions for clarification if you're not sure what they meant by their comment. You then need to determine if you're going to accept or reject their comments based on your own professional opinion. You're going to make revisions as you see fit. Either way, you'll respond to your peer reviewer in a professional manner. So let's talk about determining, number 2, determining if you'll accept or reject their comments based on your professional opinion. So basically, you don't have to accept all their comments. Typically, they're going to ask for, they're going to ask for clarification. So maybe they don't think that you explain something well enough, or they don't think that you justified the use really of a certain statistics, or you didn't really explain how you got to your sample size. So all those type of comments I typically accept and make changes based on what they're saying. Sometimes they might ask you to make a change and you don't agree with it. And so in that case, typically it's going to be something much bigger. So for example, I had a time where I didn't agree with one of the comments, and right now I can't remember what that was, but it had something to do with my loneliness and cognitive systematic review that I sent you. And so, they might want to have you say something about cognition, or say something about loneliness, or something in a different point of view. And really, you as the expert might decide, that really doesn't make sense. I have to explain loneliness this way, and I have to explain cognitive function this way. And so in that case, you don't accept that feedback, and you give them a reason why, and I'll show you a form that I use. And you're always respectful, you're always grateful, and thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate it. That type of talking to the editor, who then talks also, they give your comments to the reviewer. So let me show you. There is no standard form that you would use, but this is something that I like to use just because I want to be organized and keep it all straight and show them that I'm addressing each one of their comments. So when you get the comments, typically they're just in a list. So let's say it says unclear, let's put this as an example, unclear how you got to the sample size. So I just copy and paste them, straight from the reviewers, whatever it is, if it's a document or email or what. How did that happen? And so, it'll be number 1, and there might end up being, you have 10. How about you know, the way you describe loneliness, how about the way you define loneliness is not clear. They might also say, I've had this comment before. I've given this comment. Review the literature again, because I don't think because you didn't seem to get or find the most necessary or relevant research articles. So I actually gave that to somebody as a comment, because they were writing a paper on loneliness and they didn't include anything of mine. And I had several articles that would have made sense specifically on loneliness and cognitive function. And they were saying that there really wasn't anything out there. And I said, well, you need to go back and look, because there is something out there. So anyway, so I just copy and paste them. I don't even change their words. I just, however they wrote it, I put it here, number them down to whatever. And then my response, so I have, that's reviewers' comments, then my response. And so if it says, unclear how you got to the sample size, so I will say something like, I try to be super nice. Thank you for your comments. We clarified the process on page 2, paragraph 3, or whatever. Review the literature again. So here's another comment. I'm going to go down just to the second one. Review it again because you didn't seem to find the most necessary, relevant research article. So, let's see. You don't have to write thank you for the comment every time, but we completed another literature review and found some additional articles, and this is misspelled, but you don't care. Additional articles that we included in the background significance section of the manuscript. So these aren't have all these spelling errors, but you won't have that. And so if there's an example of, if there's something that you don't agree with, so let's say the way you define loneliness is not clear, or how about is not correct, because you didn't include X, whatever that is. So I would always write, so thank you for your comment. The reason we define loneliness without mentioning loneliness, without including X, was because of X. You could add another sentence, maybe something like, thank you for your comment. The reason we define loneliness without including X was because of X. We want to make sure the reader understands loneliness, and then whatever else you want to say. So basically, whether you have good comments, so you're going to have comments that you're going to accept. You may or may not have one that you don't accept. But either way, you're very gracious. You're very thankful for your comments, for making your paper much better. You can submit something on this little chart like this. And again, that's not required, but I just do it really. I think it's easier to see and do it that way. And they can see that you're really taking it seriously. And then don't forget, if you're going to not accept their recommendation, then you need to put some sort of explanation and the reason why. And really everything at the doctorate level is to defend your position. So you need to defend the reason why you did it that way and see what happens. So I went round and round this one that happened back and forth 3 or 4 times with this one comment. And I wish I could remember what it was, but they wanted me to change it and I just wasn't going to change it. And so we went back and forth. And so finally I wrote to the editor and said, I don't know what to do. The reviewer wants me to change this, but I'm not willing to do it. And it's because of that. And so I don't really know how to proceed. Because that reviewer wasn't going to let it go. And so then the editor can really kind of look at it, and she or he did something and we got past it, but I didn't have to change it. So that's that. So do something, maybe for your peer review, because the instructions say make revisions. Either way, respond to your peer reviewer in a professional manner. So maybe you can do that either in track changes, you can do that in some sort of list like I did, and then just submit that along with your revised manuscript. So you'll submit the 2 documents, and that'll be it. So hopefully this is, one major revision that you're doing with all these comments. And so hopefully it should be in pretty good shape after this round of revisions. And then we can have a pretty clear and clean document that we can really look at and make more revisions on. But it'll be closer to being ready for submission. So let me know if you need anything. And again, you have until July 23rd.